Today we discuss about the plus 2 biology chapter 3, the reproductive health. This chapter deals with the importance of birth control and different types of contraceptive methods. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. We can passing through the textbook. The third chapter, the reproductive health. According to WHO, the reproductive health means a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavior and social. This is the course according to WHO. What is the importance of reproductive health? In India, family planning were initiated in 1951. What is family planning? The birth controlling measures and give awareness about the importance of population control. In India, statutory ban on amniocentesis for sex determination to legally check increasing menace of female feticide. In case of India, there are lot of female feticide cases are reported. So, Government of India banned this. What is amniocentesis? There are different stages or steps into this process. A small sample of amniotic fluid which surrounds the fetal is syringed out. Second step, this fluid has cells which break off from the skin of fetus. The developing fetus in the womb area of the mother laying inside the amniotic sac that filled with the amniotic fluid. A little bit of this amniotic fluid syringed out, and then these fetal cells are picked up and cultured. There is very little bit of cells we can get through the syringing, but for multiplication we can cultivate the cells. Next step, chromosomes is dividing cell. Chromosome in the dividing cells are analyzed for genetic defects. Then we can check there are different types of genetic defects through the chromosomal or DNA detailed studies. Most of the incurable genetic defects can be detected through this process of amniocentesis. There are different stages, that is a small sample of amniotic fluid which surrounds the fetal is syringed out. This fluid has cells with a break off from the skin of fetus. Fetal cells are picked up and cultured. Chromosomes in the dividing cells are analyzed for genetic defects. Then we can check the genetic defects. Then the next topic, the contraceptive methods. There are different types of contraceptive methods are adopted. First, natural method. There is no side effect in this case. There are mainly three types of natural method of contraceptives. First natural method is periodic abstinence. That is, couples avoid coitus or meeting from day 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle. Couples avoid mating from the date 10 to 17 of the menstrual cycle. There is no ovulation occurs. When ovulation could be unexpected. Second, Withdrawal or coitus interrupts. Here, male partner withdraws his penis from the vagina just before ejaculation, so as to avoid insemination. Third point, lactational amenorrhea. Here, in normal case, up to 6 months from parturition, that is giving birth, no menstrual cycle, there is no chance for fertilization. In normal case, up to 6 months from the parturition or childbirth, menstrual cycle stops. There is no chance for fertilization. These are the 3 natural methods for contraceptives: periodic abstinence, withdrawal or coitus interrupts, and lactational amenorrhea. Next type of contraceptive method are barrier methods. In this method, ovum and sperms are prevented from physically meeting with the help of barriers. Such methods are available for both male and females. Condoms are the main devices that used as barriers. Here male and female condoms are available. Condoms are made up of latex or rubber. Cover the penis. In male case, cover the penis, and in female case, cover the vagina and cervix in females. This is the cervical part and vagina. Here is the pictures of male and female condoms. Male and female condoms. Nirod is an example for male condoms. In female case, diaphragms, cervical caps and walls are used as barriers. It is also made up of rubber or latex sheet. Next type, intrauterine devices. Intrauterine devices, IUDs. These devices are inserted by doctors or expert nurses into the uterus through vagina. There are 3 types of IUDs: non-medicated, copper releasing and hormone releasing. The non-medicated IUDs, example, Lippus loops. Copper releasing IUDs, example, copper T, copper 7, multilode 375. Hormone releasing, example, progesters and LNG20. Functions: IUDs increase phagocytosis of sperms. What is phagocytosis? It is the engulfing of sperms or splitting or destroy the sperms within the uterus. The main aim of using IUDs: increasing phagocytosis of sperms within the uterus, and the copper ions releasing suppress sperm mortality. Copper suppress the sperm mortality and fertilizing capacity of sperms. In addition, hormone releasing IUDs make the uterus unsuitable for implantation. Hormone releasing IUDs make the uterus unsuitable for implantation. What is implantation? We already discussed about the implantation in last chapter. In the blastula stage, the embryo stuck on the uterine wall and developed is known as implantation. All these help for delaying female pregnancy and or space between children. Next, oral contraceptives. Next method, oral contraceptives. First, pills. Mainly used pills, some certain injections also used. Oral contraceptives pills. Progestogen pills and progestogen estrogen combination pills are available. Progestogen and estrogen are sex hormones that are related to reproductive system. We already studied. Pills, progestogen pills and progestogen estrogen combination pills are available. Pills can use daily or a gap take at the time of 7 menstrual days. So 21 days can use. Between the gap between the menstrual cycle there is no chance for ovulation, so we can avoid these days. Only 21 days can used. Function: inhibit ovulation and implantation. We know what is ovulation. The releasing of matured ovum from the ovary is known as ovulation. And implantation, the fixing of blastula stage of embryo on the wall layer of uterus. Inhibit ovulation and implantation as well as alter the quality of cervical mucus to prevent or retard entry of sperms. Sperms have the capability for swimming through the mucus. So pills retard the production of mucus in the cervical region. So it is stuck or stop the mobility of sperms through the vaginal tract. Then another injections. Progestogen alone or combination of estrogen plus progestogen used by females as injections or implants under the skin. These minute or small quantity of these hormones may inject or implant under the skin. Their action similar to pills. The injections or the activity of injections are similar to the activity of pills, but the effective period are much longer. Administration of progestogens or progestogen estrogen combinations or IUDs within the 72 hours of coitus or meeting have been found to be effective as emergency cases like rape, unprotected intercourse, etc. Administration of progestogens or progestogen estrogen combinations or using of IUDs within the 72 hours of meeting have been found to be effective as in emergency cases like rape or unprotected intercourses. Next, surgical method or sterilization. Surgical method or sterilization. Here, this is a terminal method or stoppage of reproductive process to prevent any more pregnancies. Surgical interventions block gamete transport and thereby prevent conception. Here made a blockage or cutting. There are two types of surgical methods adopted for males and females. In case of males, that is known as, the surgical method is known as vasectomy, and in case of females known as tubectomy. In vasectomy, a small part of vas deferens This is a picture. This is the vas deferens. A small part of vas deferens is removed or tied up through a small incision or hole, making a hole on the scrotum, scrotal sac. Next, tubectomy. A small part of fallopian tube is removed or tied up through a small incision on the abdomen or through vagina or making a hole on the abdomen. There are little side effects for contraceptive methods, all contraceptive methods. That is, it may have possibility for ill effects like nausea, abdominal pain, breakthrough bleeding, irregular menstruational bleeding, or even breast cancer. Next, medical termination of pregnancy, MTP. Medical termination of pregnancy or MTP. Intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term is called MTP or induced abortion. Medical termination is also known as abortion. What is abortion? The intentional or voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term is called MTP. Nearly 45 to 50 million MTPs are preferred in year all over the world. That is 1/5 of the total number of conceived pregnancies in a year. Government of India legalized MTP in 1971 with some strict conditions. MTPs are essential in case where continuation of pregnancy harmful for either mother or fetus or birth. It helps for protection of mother and fetus. There are so many crises in case of pregnancy. So avoid this crisis. Doctors prescribe for abortion. MTP safe during first trimester, that is up to 12 weeks of pregnancy. Second trimester is riskier. Next part, this is a simple lesson. There is no more explanation needed. We just passing through the textbook, that is enough. Next topic, sexually transmitted infections. Sexually transmitted infections. There are different types of diseases that harmfully affect human health. Infections or diseases which are transmitted through sexual intercourse or collectively called STI or venereal diseases or reproductive tract infections. Infections or diseases which are transmitted through sexual intercourse or mating are collectively called STI, venereal disease or reproductive tract infections, RTI. Examples of diseases: gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, chlamydiasis, genital warts, trichomoniasis, hepatitis B, AIDS, HIV cause AIDS. We already know that. These diseases are known as reproductive tract infection or venereal disease. There are some points we can notice. Hepatitis B and HIV may transmitted by sharing of injection needles and surgical instruments. Hepatitis B and HIV that cause AIDS may transmitted by sharing of injection needles and surgical instruments, etc. Next point, transfusion of blood or from infected mother to fetus. Transfusion of blood, or what is blood transfusion? In emergency cases, patients take blood from another persons. That is known as transfusion of blood. Transfusion of blood or from mother to fetus. There are so many diseases are transported through the system. Hepatitis B and HIV may transmit by sharing of injection needles and surgical instruments. Blood transfusion, that is blood transfusion, transfer of blood from one person to the another person is known as blood transfusion. Blood transfusion or from infected mother to fetus to transmit these diseases like hepatitis B and HIV. Except for hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV infections, other diseases are completely curable. Hepatitis B, genital herpes and HIV infections are not completely curable diseases. Other diseases are completely curable. At early stage, minor symptoms are seen like itching, fluid discharge, slight pain, swelling, etc. in genital region shown. Then complications. Pelvic inflammatory diseases, abortion, stillbirth. What is stillbirth? The birth without complete development. The birth occurs between, sometimes it occurs 1 month to 6 or 7 months without complete development. Stillbirths are occurred. Ectopic pregnancies means the development of embryo and fetus on fallopian tube other than the uterus is known as ectopic pregnancies. Infertility, even AIDS are the complications of such harmful diseases. Remedial measures: avoid sex with unknown or multiple partners. Always try to use condoms during mating. In case of doubt, take treatment as early as possible. The last part, infertility. Infertility is the last part of this lesson. Lose the capability of reproduction. Lose the capability of reproduction is known as infertility. Reasons: many physical congenital diseases, drugs, immunological and physiological problems cause infertility. Assisted reproductive technologies. Assisted reproductive technologies, ART. In vitro fertilization, IVF. In vitro fertilization, IVF. Fertilization outside the body is known as IVF. It is conducted in laboratory. What is fertilization? The fusion of gamete is known as fertilization, that conducted in laboratory. Egg from female donor and sperm from male donor collected. Induced to form zygote in laboratory. Artificial condition. Early embryo or zygote transferred into the fallopian tube up to 8-celled case, that is SIFT. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. SIFT means zygote intrafallopian transfer. Or more than 8 blastomeres or more than 8-celled condition of embryo transfer into the uterus. Blastomeres are transferred into the uterus. IUT, intrauterine transfer, for complete further development. Once more, assisted reproductive technology. In vitro fertilization means fertilization took place outside the uterus or fallopian tube. Steps: egg from female donor and sperm from male donor collected, induced into form zygote in laboratory. Early embryo or zygote transferred into the fallopian tube, that is up to 8-celled stage, that is Morla stage. Zygote intrafallopian transfer, that is SIFT, is mentioned, or more than 8 blastomeres transfer into uterus, intrauterine transfer, for complete further development of the fetus. Next, in vivo fertilization. In vivo fertilization, it could be used to assist those females who cannot conceive. In vivo means fusion of gametes within the female body. In vivo means fusion of gametes within the female body. There are 3 steps. Transfer of an ovum collected from a donor into the fallopian tube of another female. Transfer of ovum collected from a donor into the fallopian tube of another female who cannot produce one, but can provide suitable environment for fertilization and further development. Next step, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Next, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. This procedure to form an embryo in the laboratory, in which a sperm is directly injected into the ovum. In laboratory, the fusion of sperm and egg cell or ovum took place. Here directly the sperms are injected into the ovum. This method adaptable for the case of infertility by low sperm count in male case. Last, artificial insemination. In this technique, semen collected either from the husband or a healthy donor is artificially introduced either into vagina or uterus, that is intrauterine insemination.